Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this place. You know us, we know you, not really, but here we go. We got Ock on the far right, your left. We got Spenny, mid-right, your mid-left. Me, Riddick, lefts, your rights. Welcome back. So what do we got? There's new hotness going on in the comic industry.
I don't know if I would describe it as hotness. There's definitely some stuff going on.
Oh, it's some cold shit.
It's not good.
It's cold. Cold as ice.
So, DC and Warner Media, just in general, recently went through a massive round of layoffs. As of the time of recording, I believe the numbers are somewhere around 600 employees across all the different companies have been laid off.
That's this is the first action of the new CEO of Warner Brothers there, Jason Kilar.
Yeah, something.
This is not a first appearance of a villain, apparently. Yeah.
How is that not a DC villain right now?
I don't know, man, but there's some ideas right there.
Yeah.
So, but the guillotine came through all across Warner Brother Media. Yeah. And who else?
HBO, DC Collectibles got the complete axe. They don't exist anymore. I feel like there might have been something else, but I don't remember.
The streaming service.
Oh, the streaming service got cut as well. That the writing's on the wall for them.
DC Universe,
yeah.
And they crushed a bunch of editorial people.
Yes, that was mostly what DC Comics lost.
That's good, as long as it's not the writers and artists, you know.
I don't know, you kind of bumbled your fucking start there.
Yeah.
Whatever, if you want to... Right here, we give you surface news. If you want deeper dives, go into the other shit.
That's why we add links to articles.
We're primers. We're surface primers.
I mean, I'm not going to pretend to be an expert. Some other people on this show might.
Front lines. We're the front lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
We take the bullets.
Yeah. So, a bunch of people joined the recently deceased. Yeah, I don't know. So it's...
In a way, they started off their own dead label.
It's one of those things, right? Like, I mean, sure, they're blaming a lot of it on, you know, the times, the coronavirus stuff, reduced sales. But also, like, from what I was reading, they fucked themselves, too, with the distributor switches. Their sales took a massive hit from that. So I think Batman and Death Metal, is it, in particular, are doing pretty well for them. But all of their, like, mid-title books, the kind of just like the...
Like their single titles?
Well, they're monthly, like, consistent sellers, like, not the big ones. Apparently, they took a massive chunking.
Like your Batmans, your Wonder Woman.
No, well, yeah, more like your Wonder Womans.
Nightwings.
Your, like, Justice League, Dark. All
Yeah.
those, like, mid-tier titles that, you know, you can rely on, a couple thousand sales every month. Apparently, those took a massive hit after the switchover. Yeah. Which makes sense. Even here, we've cut down on... Or we've clamped down on the DC titles we're bringing in, I think.
We clamped down here because, generally speaking, the peeps who come into here, they're not, they're not going to pick up every damn comic. No. So we got to just get comics that move on gas. That was something we should have done like 2 years ago, though.
Sure.
Yeah.
It's just, we're surface level. in all phases of operation.
I think it used to kind of be, the big three used to be Batman, Superman, and Justice League.
Yeah.
I think Superman slipped a little, but there's still that desire for a team book. If you were to say someone DC, who's your team book? It's going to be Justice League.
Did Superman slip after? I thought Superman got back to okay with Bendis being the writer.
But then,
I mean, he had the reason you had Death of Superman was because his sales were slipping. Remember
but that was a long time ago.
Exactly. No, but that's he has periods of slipping in terms of sales.
I don't know.
So and then plus I would say the mid 2000s, like even the New 52 stuff, he wasn't selling that well for the New 52 stuff because there was a lot of people arguing about how they didn't like the direction that they were going with Superman, like with a bunch of the changes that they did.
Yeah.
There was a lot of people who were cussing about the changes that they made with Superman. So it's like
what changes did Bendis really make with Superman?
Oh, he didn't do New 52. He did Rebirth.
Oh, okay. No. Bendis didn't even do Rebirth.
No,
I thought you were talking about they were upset about one. The New 52 Superman isn't the same Superman right now, though. They cut that out and they kind of went back.
I know that's why I'm saying.
I think
that's the whole point of the Rebirth.
The bigger problem with Superman is just that he's not like. He's not that relevant of a character anymore. Like, sure, you can write him in interesting ways, but the dude's been around for like 80 years now, something like that.
Yeah, that's it. Like, even when you look to like other medias, right? Like a Superman movie, no one's getting nuts about a Superman movie or a Superman cartoon or anything like that. They're not pushing for those things. Superman's in contrast to Batman. There's a good pairing, but on his own, it's not as appealing anymore because he's
Well, it's kind of hard to relate, like you're
but that's what I'm saying.
overpowered.
Bendis injected a pretty interesting arc for Superman that hasn't really been done. They were saying, what's his name? Oh my god, if I can remember that dude. That new alien guy. I fucking can't remember or I don't know. I will pop up the name. But he fucked up. He was essentially speaking responsible for Krypton getting fucked up, man.
But that
And
doesn't.
then he took the last remnants of Kryptonian civilization that was hidden in fucking.
The Sanctuary.
It wasn't the Sanctuary. It was that fucking zone piece that he has. Is it the Phantom? I can't remember. Where Superman parts. It doesn't matter. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't. Unless you're a DC fan, you're like, you should fucking know this. Well, fuck, no one really likes Superman that much.
Fortress of Solitude? What are you doing?
No. I think it's the negative zone. I'm not too sure. Either or, there was the last remnants of fucking Krypton, and he smashed the shit out of that too.
Yes.
So now there's like
no. But that doesn't do anything for Superman. He was like the last Kryptonian for like the longest time. Now he's the last Kryptonian again.
He never really was the last Kryptonian.
Yeah, because the Kryptonians were shrunk. They were micro.
But detracting from the Superman conversation, it's like they're monthly titles, with the exception of Batman. And I think the Justice League, while there's some different, it's kind of an up and down, but it's the constant group title, right?
Yeah.
Like Marvel is a bunch of group titles. They got the Avengers, they got the Fantastic Four, they got
X-Men.
Justice League, and not just the X-Men, and like so they have a number of group books, but really, and there is some in DC.
For the most part, it's variants on Justice League.
And like you got Suicide Squad, I guess maybe, but it's the title that, comparable to the Avengers, but it's their group book that you can kind of get a piece of everybody.
Yeah.
So I think it'll survive. Of this, Batman and Justice League, I think will survive. Everything else is up in the air.
Flash might survive. I'm looking at the March sales from this year, 2020, which is like roughly when COVID hit. And DC has Batman 91 and 90 at the 2 and 3 spot, and then Flash at number 4. And
that
they're
makes
all
sense.
in the 80,000 copies, right?
Is that saying Spider-Woman is the number one selling copy?
It was issue number 1.
Yeah, that was issue number 1.
That's why Marvel continues to drop number 1s, is because it sells.
Okay.
Me and Riddick were actually just talking about Marvel's cheesy tactics, but I guess DC does it too. They're guilty.
But we shouldn't get too sidetracked. This is just mostly talking about the DC cutoffs, and yes, you can say it's mostly just the editorial staff, but I mean, it's not like they don't do anything. Like, they are contributing to the quality of those books.
No, I don't. In a way, less editorials means less comics. Less comics means less fucking gibberish. So they do have a good opportunity here.
Yes. I think that's the rating is on that it's not like they're going to take the existing staff and spread them out thinner. If they're losing editorial staff, it's because they're losing titles that they're going to need editing on.
Yeah,
maybe.
And there's a bunch of people rumoring that they're just trying to get rid of comics, but I don't know why you'd get rid of a cash cow like that. It's not. If you do it properly, you can still make money.
No, absolutely.
And it's not like they weren't making money either. They probably want to make more.
Which, if I can segue a little bit, I don't know, but the numbers were released for 2019's print sales with comics.
Oh yeah.
And so graphic novels rose by 100 million in over 2019. So graphic novels at this point double single issue comic sales, but you got to take that with a grain of salt because graphic novels are more of value too, right? So
because you're getting a whole story arc.
You sell one graphic novel, that's the equivalent of selling five single comics. So there is that thing, but again, there's talk of, are they going that direction? Whereas instead of producing individual comics on a monthly basis, are they going towards these book or graphic novel formats, which might come out every 6 months? Because what they've also found again in this last year was that was the first time where bookstore revenues outperformed comic book stores.
Yeah, for sure.
So when you're talking about individual comics, if they're on a shelf at Walmart or
chapters,
those kind of things, They don't want to be pulling comics out on a monthly basis. They want them sitting in with their spine facing out. They want them on a bookshelf.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. I've never seen individual comics at like a.
So it's just too much of that's too much of a hassle. Whereas these things, they don't have to pull them when a new one comes out. It's just like so they could be preparing for that. In that saying, we're not going to look to the local comic store to sell our wares. We're going to be going with bigger markets like in these stores. And that just may be that it's going to involve graphic novels. And if that's the case, it's not necessarily going to reduce the content coming out, but it's going to take a different format.
Yeah.
But yeah, so wrapping around a little bit back to the editor cutoffs, two of the editors that were, I don't know if they were confirmed cut, but they were the heads behind the DC Black Label stuff, which is part of our next topic.
Mark Doyle, the executive editor.
I read two guys were involved with it, were cut.
I don't know. Mark Doyle is the guy responsible for Black Label, though.
Yeah, but yeah, so Black Label, when it first came out, the first title they launched was Batman Damned. And that got a bunch of scrutiny because in the number one, it was the first appearance of Bat Dick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we went over that too on the show.
Yeah, I think we did.
It was juicy.
Well, Bat Dick.
No,
it was juicy.
It swangs.
But yeah, it caused apparently a pretty big stir at DC and just kind of in general.
Yeah, which was weird because the article was talking about some shit where it was like they're gonna tone down their censorship and make sure they're not talking about damned and stuff. But again, in that time, Batman with the death of Alfred was pretty fucking graphic in regards to what they did to him.
The article did specify though that yes, they have been getting like looser with some of their censoring and stuff lately, but after like the Batman Damned thing happened, I think he said he was expecting it to get
tighter. But that's what I'm saying. It doesn't feel to me like it's getting any
tighter.
It
wouldn't be reflected yet, right?
What are you talking about? Batman Damned came out a while ago.
Yeah. So just to put it into context, so what they're talking about with the Batdick is that Batman Damned, which is a prestige format. So it's not the comic size; it's like a larger, nicer paper, and it's almost magazine size with more quality paper.
Yeah.
And it came out, and Bruce Wayne was presented as full frontal.
Yeah.
All right. So that's where it came, and it didn't really add to the story or anything. It was just.
Yeah, and now correct me if I'm wrong. Black Label was also marketed as their like adult label as well, right?
Yeah, for sure. But even adults can't handle fucking.
Yeah, apparently not.
But I think that was the first. I think that was the first issue of that whole.
Yes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. But there was that whole theory, like that whole series had a lot of fucking weird tones to it, right? Like Jesus Christ, I almost felt like at a time Batman was on fucking drugs.
Yeah.
One have a shower after reading it.
Right? Yeah. Oh, yeesh. So, but that was one of those weird things where it's just like you set it up as Black Label and you got upset about a penis.
Yeah. But so what?
Like the
what
Harley Quinn, she man raped. She raped Batman. Roughly speaking.
Mm-hmm.
That happened in that series, did it not? And that one slid.
I think I only read the first issue.
So, I attempted rape. I'm not too sure what happened.
I don't know. But
it was a weird series.
With the
weird series.
With the Batdick thing, so that comic has absolutely just skyrocketed in price since coming out. Like even just like non-graded, non-slabbed, like just straight off the rack issues going for like $60 to $100 American.
Dang.
We were looking at it earlier. Some of the like signed or like slabbed high CGC'd are going for like stupid amounts of money.
One guy's trying to sell it for a fucking K.
Yeah.
Signed Lee Bramo and Brian Azzarello.
And one of the reasons that this is happening is because there is only one printing of Batman Damned #1. There was supposed to be a reprint, which DC said they were going to censor, but that never ended up happening because it's still not 100% confirmed, but it's from multiple sources. Brian Azzarello, in his like writer's contract for this series, he wasn't worried about Batdick. He was worried at the end of the issue they have like I don't know if it was a Jesus that's defaced to look like the Joker crucified or if it's actually the Joker crucified, but he was worried people would get upset about that and didn't want it changed. So he added a no changes clause for subsequent printing, so they couldn't change it, and they weren't going to reprint it with Batdick. So there is only 11,000 copies of Batman Damned.
I say keep the 11,000 copies. Don't reprint it. Maybe like 10 years down the road.
Money talks. If they approach Brian Azzarello and say, "We'll give you this amount of money and you'll get royalties," and
absolutely. He'll be like, "Yeah."
Hold on. if motherfucking Alan Moore wrote it, they ain't getting shit from it. I'm just saying, Alan Moore's a G.
Alan Moore told him not to buy the first round.
To fucking shout him out. So.
He's been dabbling in those mushrooms that Swamp Thing produces. I think.
But
so
yeah, I mean that's kind of the long and short of the whole Black Label thing. Like there is like so the article that we're referencing here did speculate that we're going to see like tighter restrictions or tighter reins on future DC publications.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I mentioned it,
stupid.
I mean, sure it is, but there's real world parallels that you can look to.
What real world parallel? What the fuck is your kid reading Batman for? Huh?
No, not with kids.
Especially Bat Dick.
Like go read the Adventures of Batman.
No, but like even the article referenced a BBC incident where there was a
In which BBC?
Well, there's only one BBC.
You live in a world outside the internet then.
One relevant one. But anyways, the
British Broadcasting Corporation or company or whatever the C stands for.
Aren't they in a shipping container?
Is there a reason?
They are.
Fucking...
Because BBC. Anytime we mention BBC, someone else got to mention the other BBC.
Yeah.
I think Spenny's alluding to that. It's
so
across the board,
here,
not just in comic books, but in media. And
there's plenty of issues or examples of one person fucking it up and ruining it for everybody else.
What would BBC do?
So there was some shit said on one of their shows. Like a week later, there was some outrage about it. Everybody who was involved with the show resigned from the show.
Are you talking about the Ross Kemp and fucking...
It was Russell Brand and...
Yeah. Jonathan Kemp.
Something like that.
And then... Jonathan Ross.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. Either way, after that, the suits got a lot more involved in what people were saying. Mm-hmm. And it got a lot more...
More corporate.
And you see that in the last 10 years, like particularly in like comedy, right? Mm-hmm. They want edgy comedians. They want people that are on the edge. And then if they just step over a little bit, then there's the backlash is huge.
No, for sure. For sure. But
so there's no doubt in my mind, editorial staff and everybody knew that this full frontal thing was going on months before it was published. Yeah. And they reveled in it.
Well, it was funny. Like Jim Lee was apparently trying to back it up after saying, it was a printing error, and people actually involved in it, but they were like, no, this was the plan the whole time.
Mm-hmm. It's like Sharon Stone saying that she didn't know in Basic Instinct they were going to shoot up her crotch, but you know what? They had lights shooting up her crotch.
I'm always crotch aware, so that can never happen to me.
I don't know what's going on under this table right now. I'm a little bit trusting in you guys.
It's just my crotch is in the show. We don't take crotch shots anyways, because we take them verbally. But, so let me get this straight. You mean to tell me because a bunch of fucking suits in BBC run some stupid-ass business practices where they're like, we're going to have some fucking mature themes here, but if it gets too mature in dumb ways, we're going to cut it?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm telling you.
That's something comic fans should fucking yield to?
No, I'm not. Did I say anything about the fans? I said that...
It's funny because the people who are
justifying DC's actions is stupid.
I'm not justifying. I'm saying...
That's the thing is, what the problem is it's not comic fans that are cussing. It's the people who don't read comics, and they just so happen to pick up the comic, and they're like, "Oh my god, there's a dick in this."
No, there was literally no controversy about it. It was literally DC's higher ups.
Yeah, fans went nuts for Bad Day.
Oh yeah, man.
Beyond that, I'm just saying that
Marvel fans,
I want more to eat up.
Image fans, everyone loved Bad Day.
I'm not justifying the potential for it. I'm just saying there is real world precedent for a potential for.
Of course, but who doesn't know this? They're fucking.
Well, you were trying to say. You were trying to say there wasn't.
When the fuck did I say that? I just said it was fucking stupid.
Before I had to...
I said it was stupid, and then when you mentioned BBC, I asked you to clarify which BBC you're referring to.
So I think the climate's changed. I think that's the thing across the board. Like, it's saying that, what was acceptable 5 years ago and what was edgy. You think of some of the some comics are still going edgy. You got Jean Grey, Wolverine, and Scott Summers in a three-way apparently now.
That's we developed. That's Hickman trolling.
So
that's Hickman trolling.
Yeah.
Marvel.
So there's things going on, and again, and if there's a backlash to that, then they'll retreat from it.
That's the thing. Yeah. We'll see some more full frontal 5-10 years from now.
I don't know if they retreat from it. And then hold on, I'm gonna have to argue this. This censorship laws have been stupid and they've been redundant for a very fucking long time. This isn't something new.
This isn't laws though. This is the company.
If they drop. I'm calling it a law just based on the fact that if they feel like it's offensive, they're going to fucking change it immediately anyways nowadays. That's not something that just started in 2020. No. That's something that's been happening for a very long fucking time now.
I find Hawkeye offensive.
Right? Like, come on, Riddick, you can't have titties on anything.
I'm not saying that if they feel it's... But sometimes it's published or printed or created with the intent to offend. But when it offends too much, then there's a backpedal. There is an intent.
Okay,
it's a major backpedal usually.
I don't think if it offends too much is if it crosses lines that corporations don't like penis. Bare penis. You can't have bare penis or bare titties. How does a bare penis offend you more than any other theme from any major story arc between Marvel and DC in the last 10 years? Like, they go pretty deep into some crazy ass shit if you think about it. Like, it's none of it's very friendly. A lot of it's very questionable in regards to certain things. Like, look at the X-Men right now. They're peddling drugs to the whole fucking world. Yeah. There's no explanation about how they're making that drug either. Can you imagine that in this world? You go, here's a Tylenol pill, no explanation what's in the Tylenol pill.
Mutant poppies.
Mutant poppies. Yeah. What's the composition of that? But like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, there's always the censorship shit is so fucking weird, man. Like, it's fucking stupid. So you know what? Maybe as fans, we should start the back dick revolt or something. Make sure that they have bad dick on every comic from now on from DC. Just have a bad dick on a page or something.
I understand.
That's an advertisement for a future comic.
I understand if there's a clause for Azrael and stuff like that, but at the same time, it would be completely simple. It's like him walking out of the shadows. It's not like he's under a spotlight or anything. It's like it's like an indication of, you know what it is. But to throw spot black over that whole thing doesn't affect the comic, doesn't affect the issue, doesn't affect the content.
Yeah.
But there's almost a
principle of the thing, sort of.
Well, there's a principle, but there's also that's us. We did that edgy thing.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you know, in part, like, what do you think the chances of the team actually put that dick in there just to make for sales and for that rise in awareness because people are going to talk about
because Black Label. It was the very first issue. If this had been 2 years into Black Label, would they have done it? I don't know. But it's the very first thing of Black Label.
Make the statement, right?
Yo, you gotta start off strong, you know?
Yeah, and then
what better way to show off some dick?
Look at okay, so what's Spenny, you've been reading the Joker and Harley series, right? From Black Label?
Yeah, I'm a little behind, but yeah, I've been reading it.
Roughly speaking, what's that about?
Serial killer. Joker's a serial killer.
And Harley's doing what?
She's trying to hunt him down.
Right, and is there a more likely chance than not that it's going to end up with her becoming Harley Quinn?
I would hope not. That'd be a little bit lame, but yeah, no, it's absolutely on the cards.
Right, it's roughly speaking what happened, and that's not a no thing, but bad dick is a no thing. That's fucking fuck these stupid ass motherfuckers.
Look, man, I'm not disagreeing with you that like double standards are a thing, but
it's not even a double standard. It's just stupid.
I mean,
it's fucking stupid.
Double standards can be stupid.
No, for sure, it is a double standard.
Well, I think
it's more stupid than double standard.
So I think this is a great segue into, a new segment that I think we should try out. How we could change the comic industry. So this week, I'm going to
interject with that was a horrible segment.
Okay.
But let's switch subjects anyways just to get this fucking ball rolling.
Yeah. Way to get the ball rolling, Ock.
Yo, what am I supposed to say? This is what I do. I sit here.
You probably could have said nothing.
I could have. That would be hard.
But that would be against the Ock code.
Yes,
no,
I don't
the Ock code.
You don't understand. The ball was rolling like this fast, and then Ock was like, "No, it's not fast enough." And then he started.
Then he's like,
"No, let's not bang that right beside the mic though, because the ball's gonna be moving that fast in my head too. So let's make things as simple as possible here."
So, anyways, so I came up. So Ock and I talked about this, and I decided to come up with some ideas on how, especially after recent events of Hawkeye Freefall, which my love for Hawkeye is free falling right now. So a couple changes that I feel that in the comic industry would make sense. So first being go back to self-contained issues again, like especially with titles, because one of the things now is like the focus is so what's the scenario? No, story. Yeah, story arcs. Story arcs. It's all about selling story arcs now. So I think probably one of the biggest things I would like to see is like back to every issue is a self-contained story. I would really like to see that come back. The second thing is, what was it? I had all this shit written down, but I lost it.
Well, I mean, we could talk a little bit about that point. I don't necessarily want to see I don't mind the occasional like self-contained story, but overall I like the story arcs, just because I'm definitely a person who prefers reading those story arcs in trades. I don't like reading it monthly. It just makes it feel fragmented. But
I'm not with you.
No, that's perfectly fine. Cause like right now, my problem is I'm tired of all the story arcs. There's way too many story arcs that go on in a year. You know what I mean? So like to spread it out, when you have self-contained stories, it forces the writer to be more.
Can I interject with you?
Okay.
So you're saying there's too many story arcs.
Yes.
So say they're like 4-issue, 5-issue, 6-issue, which I agree. I actually think they should be longer. But when you're going individually, that means there's actually even more story arcs in a way because
it's all one-shot hell, man. It's one-shot hell.
No,
and
true.
One thing I just want to clarify: do you mean that there's too many story arcs, or there's too many events?
Well, I consider that's the same thing to me.
Well, they're different things.
Yeah, I do.
Well, see, I consider them the same thing. Like events and story arcs are the same thing because it's a overarching. Like an event is an overarching thing.
Sure. Like I would agree that there's too many events, but the other issue that I have with events is that it bleeds into my like regular stories. So if I'm reading Justice League Dark, for example, and then it crosses over into whatever big DC thing's going on.
Yeah.
Suddenly I've got 2 issues where it's just completely unrelated. I don't give a fuck, but I've picked them up and I've read them, and then it's not going to be relevant again after they resolve the thing. We're just going to go back to the storyline I was already reading.
No, absolutely, fair enough.
That's been the history, right? Like there's always been those events like Secret Wars, Millennium Invasion, all those kind of things where they kind of touch in a little bit. But the problem with what I find again, and just in the last 10 years, it's been those 6-issue, 10-issue, or 12-issue story arcs, right?
Yeah.
And it's because they are designing them for trade paperback sales.
Yeah.
They wanted a clean number, but what happens is that a creator creators will sign on to do a story arc, and it's self-contained in that there's another guy while they're doing one, there's another guy prepping the next one, and they don't really cross over to one another.
Absolutely.
They seem like completely
disparate.
Different thing. Yeah. So it's difficulty to have continuity.
Yes.
Or to have some kind of momentum when it's intentionally written to have a beginning and an end.
That's the second point that I was going to bring up was continuity. Bring back some proper fucking continuity into comics. Because of events...
Has comics ever really had proper continuity?
Yeah. I'm just laughing.
I would definitely... So one of the things... Dark Reign was a really good continuity point, and that was during the Bendis run at Marvel.
Dark Reign was fucking stupid.
No. Okay, as much as you can say Dark Reign itself was stupid, there was actual proper continuity within the Dark Reign.
What do you mean?
Because everything still connected. Like, with the new Avengers doing certain events, you didn't have, like, Thor coming in or any of these other people coming in who already had their other titles. There was no cross-contamination. But if there was cross-contamination, it actually fit with the other titles.
We're talking about Dark Reign, which literally had Dark Avengers, who weren't the real Avengers, but a bunch of villains substituted as Avengers.
Yes.
And then Dark X-Men, which weren't the real X-Men, but had a bunch of X-Men pretending to be the X-Men.
I didn't read X-Men at that time.
Well, I'm just saying they had dark and then normal covers coming out at the same time. Where's your continuity there? Like I don't get what you're saying about continuity wise. Like these are all fucking villains.
I think
do you know what continuity is?
Like Sandy, listen, you're talking to me about continuity, and I'm trying to ask you, how the fuck did Norman Osborn become the fucking lead of all these fucking powerful organizations when he's damn well been exposed as Green Goblin multiple fucking times?
No, absolutely.
Then on top of that, you got Mac Gargan running around in what was he, Spider-Man suit? Was he the Spider-Man?
Yeah, Spider-Man.
You have every fucking heavyweight criminal playing as somebody else, and they all got away with that. That's continuity to what?
Yeah, I think I don't think continuity is the right word to use here.
No,
that's not. No, in that situation, yes, I agree because of their history and nobody vetted the Dark Avengers. In terms of that continuity, that makes no sense.
No, but
I mean in terms of the issues themselves and the continuity between different titles.
You're
saying Dark Reign was contained well inside of the Dark Reign title.
Sandy's confusing me at this point because he's asking for continuity, which is like repeated issues following thing, but then at the same time he's asking for single issues. But when the continuity when it works and some of those big events, they work when they're within a specific group, right?
Yeah.
Like something that affects the Justice League, something that affects the Batman titles or the Superman titles, and where that works is when they have an editor over that groups, and this is going to get even more lost when they reduce the number of editors, because there's going to be editors that are kind of cross-pollinating all these different things and spreading themselves out. So I do believe there was a time, in the 80s and stuff, where there was crossovers that didn't affect everybody.
Yes.
It affected a pocket of people.
Yeah.
And that was able to control and is able to manage. But when you try to make it to affect everybody, it just amounts to like a single page or 2 pages of something, and it just is thrown in there, and it doesn't make any sense. So, but I mean, like you look back in history, there's tons of like the Mutant Massacre.
Oh yeah.
Right, like and you talk about like the Secret Wars, and there's a number of things that were very effective, and you did look forward to seeing what happened in the other. And sometimes, when I was younger, I might not have picked up something, but because I picked it up was a crossover, I ended up, hey, I like these characters, I'm gonna continue.
Yeah.
So I understand why they do it, but it has to be done well, and it has to be done with story in mind as opposed to with marketing in mind.
And the last thing I think they don't do at all is with lasting effects. You cannot have something pop up. Yeah, like the only time I can remember Marvel doing anything with any sort of lasting effect from an event was Original Sin.
And I think
that was only X amount of people who took that role.
And again, I think that's with that going back to the beginning and the end. Because in their mind, there's a beginning and an end, and how it ends doesn't affect anyone else.
But that's so stupid, because these guys gotta, like, again, the comic characters have grown with the audiences, as in, like, themes get more mature. Your philosophies behind certain characters get a little bit deeper. So why not have the consequences actually pop up? Because this is a world of consequences, is it not? So, and then superheroes always talk about consequences, and yet there's very little to pay at the end of the day with Marvel and DC. So
and that's a great way to, like, especially with consequences, like, that's a great way to have certain characters die permanently, and then writers can come up with new characters. Like,
but that's not. They don't try to do that. It's like wrestling, man. They just try to fill in the same molds that's sold.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, Captain America. So, and then to a defense of these fucking commie bastards, I gotta say, a lot of comic fans get upset when you change anything. Like when Dan Slott did the fucking change from Peter Parker to fucking. What's his name? Otto Octavius. But that was fucking nuts. It was really smart. It was probably the coolest thing that they did to Spider-Man in a very long fucking time. And because of fan pressure, they reverted back to normal Peter Parker. It's like, that's kind of ridiculous considering how ridiculous Spider-Man is as a person. Like, fuck him, man. Like, but again, Spider-Man fans go nuts, right?
Does Wolverine still have his stupid glowing claws?
No. Well, fuck, I don't know.
I just remember that as an example of a more recent change.
It is. But like, I was super annoyed about it. It's like, this guy is fucking like, look, man, as far as I'm concerned, Wolverine right now needs to just be at peace. The guy needs, I really liked what Mark Miller did with Old Man Logan, where he's like, I'm not using these claws anymore. Except he did that under buffoonery. You understand what I'm saying? Like, he fucked up to the point where it's like, I can't, you know what I'm saying? I thought they had an excellent chance when Jason Aaron was writing Wolverine in the X-Men to just make Wolverine stop being Wolverine. They were on themes where it's like, every time I pop my claws, something bad happens. And Jason, I'm pretty sure it was Jason Aaron. He wrote that series where Mystique made him kill all his bastard kids he didn't know about.
Yeah.
Which was insane. And it was a perfect time for Wolverine to just be like, you know what? I'm causing more problems than fucking good. Put down the Wolverine mask for a little bit. You don't actually have to fucking kill the guy who's not fucking killable. No. Right?
It's kind of like in... kind of going over, I mean, like Walking Dead. Right? Yeah. A number of people's favorite character is Daryl.
Yeah.
Because he's not the star. He's like kind of off to the side and that kind of thing. And for a long time, Wolverine was that guy who didn't play well with others.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And then people got popular, and then it's like, we need him to be right out in front of everything.
Yeah.
But he's so conflicted, there's so many different interpretations, he just doesn't make sense anymore.
That's what I said. Rick, Jason Aaron, literally when he was writing this stuff with Wolverine, I'm almost positive it's Aaron. I'm going to double check it if it's not. I'll write up who was responsible for it. He was saying the reason why he was doing all that shit, and then to my recollection, he was the only person who said it, is literally because he's trying to outrun his past, and he's trying to make good for everything. So that's why he was overextending himself. But at least someone was smart enough to sit there and be like, there has to be a reason for why Wolverine's joining up with Fantastic Four, joining up with the Avengers, joining up with this guy, joining up, like, he joins up with everybody. It's fucking ridiculous how much this guy.
Well, and Jason Aaron also added consequences for Thor during his Thor run.
Yeah, hands down, he had that. That's the only reason why I don't hate on Thor no more is because of Jason Aaron's work on Thor. It was really well done. So,
because he does add consequences. He's one of the few writers that adds consequences.
And continuity. He's
huge on...
Right, and if you look at what they did there too, because like there's some good writers out there that do some smart things off of what other people built up. The whole Null thing came from the God of Thunder series. Remember God Bomb when Null was fighting, and that wasn't even, he didn't even really have a name at that point in time. Yeah. So it'd be curious to see about if that writer just saw that and approached Aaron and was like, hey man, can I use this guy as a backing force for the Venom symbiote? So like, I feel like the artists, like the writers, you know, the good ones at least want to put together a cohesive bubble, but it gets stopped and cock-blocked by these bastards making sales. So but fuck them.
I think we gotta.
Yeah, no, but that's my thoughts. And see, like, obviously not everyone's thoughts mix well with everyone else's, and that's the whole point. Is everyone has their own opinion and stuff like that. And so yeah, that's just my thoughts. And
obviously it was your thoughts. You want a fucking appreciation badge?
No,
this was one for you in the editing.
Yeah, we'll probably be bringing back this segment in the next couple weeks. Each episode just going. Like having a different one of us like say what they.
Well, that was the concept. But quite frankly, I'm probably just gonna steal Sandy's idea. Well, if they like it, we could do that. Do you guys want to go through with that? The 4-parter?
I could, because I would actually have something productive to say. Unlike make comics shorter and make them longer. That's what Sandy said.
I didn't want to get into the nuance.
You want to be productive, make religion useful.
All right. Well,
if Marvel's listening, man, don't do the one shot. Sandy, I swear to God, they're gonna go one shot now because one shots are $4.99, $5.99. They're gonna hear this and they're gonna.
Oh fuck! No, I can't. I cancel that first idea.
You just killed comics.
Number one.
I killed comics. I single-handedly killed comics.
All right. Well, I think that's it from us for this episode.
Yeah, this was a very rocky, rolly episode, but you know, whatever. We're fucking.
I don't know why you say that like it isn't.
Life is rocky, rolly. You know.
Well, the last episode wasn't so rocky, rolly.
No, it was.
That's because I wasn't.
Yeah, I'm sure you watched it.
I was there when you edited it. All 10 days that you edited it.
Right. Well, that was a good answer to the question I didn't ask, Spenny.
Of course I watched it.
Who signed us out? You sign us out?
Yeah, I'll sign us out. All right, guys. As usual, leave a comment down below.
Don't say anything. Just leave a comment.
Yeah, just leave a comment. It'll probably Spenny's an asshole or something.
Yeah, what do you mean don't say anything? Leave a comment. I'm missing that one. That flew out here.
Yeah.
Over my head.
All right.
Anyways, all right, guys. We'll see you guys next time. And take care of yourselves.
Take care of yourself. That's very kind of you, actually.
Yeah.
I was expecting some